what builders lenders are doing, because builders lenders are never going to lose money, and those, yeah, they give the crazy things, but it's always built in the rate and it's always built in the fees, and it's never free money or in a lot of cases the best deal. It may be short term but not long term. Builders are still offering lower 6-month locks in the 5s in some cases, and they're not going to do that if they think that when that house closes or in 6 to 9 months that those rates aren't going to come back down, right? So they're not going to lose their tush on that. So watching some of those numbers as well, outside of our real estate people, watching what the builders are doing, how they're, what lots they're opening up, what the incentives are, shows you what type of market we're going into. But if you watch what their lenders are doing, it also shows you what they think are going to happen on the rates. So we think rates are going to come back down.
And if builders are offering stuff like that, like Sarah's saying, it might not be a bad option, because now these buyers could get locked in at a little bit lower rate, because these builders saying, look, 6 months from now, I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit better money than it is now.
Well, and the best thing too is
builders are paying, correct me if I'm wrong, builders are paying now those full boats again, where they were trying to skimp us out a little bit there at the height of it. I know, mental notes to all those builders that cut us out of some deals.
We watch you.
Yeah, but
long memories.
But I think they're paying full commissions now because they want us in their store.
It's getting better. But the other thing too is most of the builders now are running over the top concessions. So one of my buyers, he was over $1 million, couldn't find what he wanted. They always had a reason. We went down the street and I'm like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy new construction, because we're going to, yes, you're going to get a little smaller lot because the lots aren't as big, but they're offering the free basement. They're offering the $20,000 in options. They're offering to waive, like we're making an offer to waive the lot premium. Like they're doing, and the builders right now, they're trying to get their year-end inventory out. They're trying to make sure that they hit their quotas so that their first 6 months of next year are set with their building. There's a lot of good new construction deals right now that you can go to because they want to get those lots moving. Sorry.
You're good.
I went off on a tangent.
You're good.
Not unusual.
Any other thoughts on this slide, or pluses, minuses, other things that are going on?
Tell them, show them, tell them again, show them again, beat them over the head.
So I want to see all of you all with this on social media. Oh, Candace is asking. Stephanie, can you pass that back to? You're just talking to us. Don't worry about it. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay. It's just people at home.
Talking to so they can hear you on there.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. It's running through the feed.
Justin's getting it.
So Patty, I think it was Patty that I spoke to from the Twin Selling Real Estate.
Yes.
She reached out on the Cardinal Nest asking about assumptions. Her and I got on the phone and had a really good conversation. One of the things that I think needs to be discussed, and I'm happy to talk to you guys about maybe setting up a class or
yes. Assumptions. I love it.
So many people don't know about them. They're great. Our team has probably done 3 at this point.
Really?
We had a very short conversation on the Maryland sales meeting about assumptions, but I would love to have a class broadcasted because people don't understand how it works.
And I don't know that I'm like smart enough to teach a class on it, but we do have a lender who knows a lot about it. We sat in with him.
Great.
He did a call with us, taught us a lot about it. We've done a few now. We understand it.
So if you have assumption questions, you call
Candace.
No, I'm just kidding. We will work to do that. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I think, even just Patty and I having a liquid conversation, some of the things she saw 15 years ago, she's like, oh no, non-VA can't assume it because
things change, people.
It's changed.
Right.
It's different now.
Right.
So I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, especially like we're such a big brokerage. There needs to be more education around it because people are running away from these opportunities.
And they don't understand because 40% of realtors have joined in the last 4 years and 60% have joined since 2012. So there hasn't been any.
Nobody's
most
really
of the
gone
people
through
that
that
are watching this that are in this room weren't around when some of this stuff happens.
Right.
So this is all brand new to them. So it's a great point.
They're
Sarah's
like,
going to give us a 1-minute summary of what an assumption is right now.
Okay, I will. Off the cuff. So when
you kind of did it last week.
So when you have a VA loan, typically in the past,
we'll do more education.
Yes, we will. This is the 20-second verbiage. When you in the past have been a VA buyer and you've done the government-backed VA loans, which is a guaranteed loan through the VA, when you had an assumable loan, what that meant is that when you left, if your VA eligible buyer could qualify for that loan and had their own VA eligibility, then they could take over the balance owed. It did still attack the eligibility of the original VA buyer. It kind of limited that. But they could move right in with that lower rate, not have to go on the market and get the market rate that might have been higher. They could take that lower interest rate loan, move right in. The hard part came in with the difference. So what if the VA loan was $200,000, but the home price was $500,000, then it did not go up to whatever that VA buyer could buy. You still had to find the money in between. So whether that was you had the down payment or hard money or a supplemental lender, and most people did not like to subrogate behind the VA.
Big words.
So, and Candace says she has a lender that'll do that. But what's changed in this now is that they've opened up the VA eligibility so that you don't necessarily have to have VA eligibility to be able to assume that loan. Now, I love it from a real estate perspective that it opens up to the market. I'm a little angst and flummoxed over the fact that I'm a military family, and I love having those abilities for our VA buyers and our military families, but it does open it up to the rest of the market to be able to have some of that. So I would tell you, if you have the chance to potentially give it to a veteran and their military families, please do try to do that, but it also opens it up to the market at large as well. So we will do more classes on it, and but I think it's a great point. And right now, especially with the interest rates being in the 7s, if they have a little cash and they don't want to take the rest of that money out, and you've got a VA loan sitting at 2.5% or 3.5%, that is absolutely a wonderful option. That was my 30 seconds.
Great point, Candace.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Sam's going to pop in.
Assumptions with assumptions. I think that's great. Yes. Because our assumptions, making an ass out of me and you about assumptions.
Whoa.
Right?
What is
that kind of assumption?
I've never heard of that before.
You've never heard that?
Yes, of course I have, Sarah.
Well, you've never heard half of what I say.
Sarah,
so,
it's a bit, Sarah. I've heard of that before. I was talking about you cussing in our sales meeting.
Like you've heard that before, too.
I thought I just worried about Danny doing that. Now I got to worry about you cussing up here as well.
I am much more PG appropriate than Danny. Most of the time.
Any other thoughts about this slide?
Yes.
Good, bad, or indifferent, or thoughts about this idea of putting anything we're missing up here that's great? Because we can add stuff to the slide, too.
Yes.
But, this was kind of off the cuff,
if you
the
have
things
anything
that I thought would be good to add.
that you absolutely love, that just worked for you, that you think needs to go on the slide, just email us. We'll make it.
It is on the nest already.
Lynn,
Melissa wasn't listening 3 minutes ago. We said that, so she added that in.
Huh? It's the what? Oh,
yeah. Thinking about assumptions.
Melissa is now in the back saying, "I got to schedule the assumptions with assumptions."
Alexandra wants it in this office because we talked about it here.
That's hilarious.
In addition to the buyer consultation that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So it's an excellent piece to go into that as well, and we'll finish up part 3.
Yes, Lynn's plugging her own class today at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean,
buyer consultations part 3. She's
frankly,
the salesman.
if this.
So that is live here at 12 o'clock.
If I were y'all, I would put this on social media today. I would back it up with an email campaign to anybody that's in your buyer drip campaign. Send it out. Say just a small piece to let people know what's going on in the market. I would talk about it. I would have conversations about it. I would even go so far as, because remember, people don't necessarily look at your Facebook and they don't necessarily look at your LinkedIn, and they sometimes read your emails. I would print it and send it in a postcard format and send it into the houses of your buyers, run it through the print center and hit it. Just hit them with it. Boom, 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 boom. Generate that interest.
We need to remind when we get off this. We should have a
Rich,
buyer.
order more paper.
But also, we really should probably need to talk to Holly about creating a postcard design that has this.
In it, yes.
Idea on it, this concept that people could send to buyers all over the place.
Melissa, can you please email Holly about creating a postcard on this? Yes, done.
Creating a postcard that has this mindset about it. And you can obviously customize a little bit, but this idea that could send to possible buyers is a good thing, I think.
Yes, social media campaign, drip campaign, print mail, hit all the channels.
There you go.
Next, friend. Are your leads drying up?
7 ways to get the flowing again.
Who wants more leads? Oh, that's a good graphic, Thomas. So who wants more leads?
Especially when we sent him this at like 9 o'clock last night.
We did. We're like, can you please put this in the
sales
meeting
tomorrow? Might have been 6:30, but still, yes.
Yes. So you've heard me say, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just do one type of prospecting. Don't just do one type of marketing. You've got to vary it out. Just like I said, social media, print, right, email, half digital, half tried and true. Well, the same thing comes into your lead generation strategies. So how many people geographically farm? Like 3. All right.
I had to make sure I was
4. 4. Geographically farming can be a wonderful way. Now, granted, some people go, oh my God, that's so old school. Well, yeah. And it works.
Because it works.
Right, because it works. Now, the biggest...
There's a reason you see lots of successful realtors still doing it.
Right, there's a reason why. And it's because you're mirroring your strategy. Some people say, yeah, it costs money. Yeah, it does, but everything does in business, right? But let's be smart about how we use our money. So if we're using a low-cost method like digital, well, if we're going to put some money in something, let's back it up with a print campaign, geofarming. When you pick a geofarming area, you need some turnover, right? You need to have that attrition, that constant turnover in the community. Or the flip side of that, if there's a lot of home sites and people haven't moved in like 15 years, well, guess what? It might be ripe, right? So you've got to kind of look at it two different ways. The other thing is you've got to be consistent. Whenever you do anything with marketing, consistency is the golden rule. So I've had people come to me and go, I want to send 5,000 postcards. Great. Send 500 postcards targeted 10 times, not 5,000 postcards. Let's throw the noodles on the wall and see what sticks, and then come back and go, well, I sent it and nobody ever called me. Well, great. They don't know who you are. They haven't created value. Right. You haven't created brand recognition. You've just sent a postcard, let me sell your house, and that doesn't do anything for them right now. So when you're geofarming, but it's a wonderful way, look at it. Door knock. Biggest hurdle you're going to come into, people aren't going to answer the door. When someone does, say, thank you so much for answering your door, right? Thank them, engage them, enroll them in the conversation, but send out pieces of value and send it out consistently. Yep. Neighborhood parties, food trucks in the neighborhood, sponsor the swim team, sponsor the HOA festival. Be engaged in that community and don't just rely on one area. You may want to do a townhouse, move up, so that you can roll people up through the chain. And you may also want to do that kind of in a geographic location that's convenient to you, near where you live or work, because you don't necessarily want to drive 4 hours to show a house if something comes on the market. So make sure it's convenient. But geofarming with the right strategy works every single time.
And we've even said converting our 4-page newsletter into a
neighborhood newsletter.
A neighborhood mini HOA newsletter, because everybody cares about their neighborhood. So take our design, put most recent sales in that neighborhood, most recent under contracts and sold. Everybody cares about what's going on in their neighborhood. Put the neighborhood events that are coming up in there. The
whatever, Little League. The baseball team went to the Little League championship.
Pictures from the picnic, the neighborhood picnic. If you make something about the neighborhood, people care about it, and then you become the neighborhood expert, the person that's in their neighborhood. I live in Willisford, and I've said this before in lunch learns, but we get the HOA newsletter, and people, it's a big book. Hopefully for our HOA fees they give us something, right? So they give us this big book, right? Well, it sits on our kitchen island, and within 3 days, all 6 of the people in my family have spent 5 to 10 to 15 minutes or more going through this book. Why? Because they all care about what's going on in their neighborhood. Oh, maybe they'll see a friend. Maybe they'll see an article about something. Maybe they're going to see something interesting about their neighborhood. I didn't say anything. I just it was just a test. And every month, everybody picks it up at some point when they're eating their bagel or they're doing whatever, and they read through it because they're all interested in what's around them. And that's true for all of us. If you care about the community you're in, then you care about something that comes that has information about that in it.
Well, and the other piece of it, too, is their home is their biggest asset. Like right now with the stock market doing what the stock market's doing, their home is an insulated asset that's improving in price and improving in value. So let them know. Put the just listed cards together on every single listing. It doesn't have to be yours. Just put the disclosure at the bottom that says sold in your neighborhood, right? The just listed, the just sold. Make the newsletter go out as well. If you're looking at neighborhoods to pick, now there's 2 strategies. There's a strategy where you say, oh, there's a dominant agent in there, and I want to eat her lunch, right? So there's a little bit of the competitive spirit that kicks in. Well, if so, you've got to put the money and the resources and the time and the effort and the pieces behind it to gain that market share. Or most people, when they're just breaking into geofarming, will look for neighborhoods that don't have that dominant market share by a single agent in there. And then they start getting very, very consistent. I laugh. I have had a friend that was in real estate for years. Her biggest strategy, she wanted to be on the back of the receipts. I didn't necessarily agree with the strategy, but it worked for her. She wanted to be on the back of the receipts at the grocery store. She wanted her face where the baby's butt sat in the, right? She did a great job.
She means the shopping carts?
She did the shopping carts.
She didn't describe that very well. She meant the tag and the shopping cart.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of it, but that's it.
Because I'm like,
where the baby's butt sits in the grocery store, right? You understood what I meant.
Yeah, like 5% of the people knew what the heck Sarah was talking about right there, right?
Does anybody ever really know what I'm talking about?
She was putting ads in diapers.
You were with
for
me.
a second.
They were with me. Every mother in this room was with me. Yes. But the other piece of it too is put the strategies in place. Build it into your budget. Build it into your marketing plan, and be consistent. You can't do it 1, 2, 3 times and expect to have a great return. You need to plan 6 months to a year of marketing budget and marketing activities and stick with it. It will eventually pay off, but with consistency. Once a month, not enough. You need to do it every week to get that brand recognition, and then you can start scaling it back.
We won't spend as much time on all of these.
That's just one that I think everybody should do.
but they
Yes.
are all
applicable.
valuable things.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't think about all the different legs. So we want to remind you of some of these online leads. Look, they're not for everybody. I personally was never huge on them, but there are times at bat. There are things out there. If you're going to find your spend, a couple little tips are, commit for 3, 4, and 5 months. Like they want you to anyway. Don't commit forever, but commit for a little bit of time. It's not going to fall down in 1 month. Try to find this area that might be your number one zip code that like I have to be in this zip code. Well, the problem is 100 other people might have to be in that zip code. And you know what it does for the online leads prices is they go by demand. So maybe you love the Fairfax zip code, but 16 other people love it. Well, that makes the price, which should be $500, $1,500. You might want to say, hey, can you give me a pricing on all the zip codes within, 30 minutes of here? Because you might find one that's way underpriced because there's not as much love for there. And maybe you're like, look, I feel better about spending $400 a month here instead of $1,500 a month here. So be strategic. At least look at options. Don't be so. Now, if you're geofarming, jump onto that. Don't split your attention. But with online leads, I would do that.
The only thing, too, with online leads is make sure that you have good systems in place.
Yep.
Because the average, I heard the other day, was that you have to call an online lead 13 times before they remember you, respond to you, have a conversation with you. And if you call them, most agents call them once, and then they get busy and they get rejected and they don't call back.
Jason gave a stat from Ryan Serhart yesterday, and I forget what it was.
I forgot what it was, too. But
it was something crazy like 80 or 90% of realtors only call once.
Yeah. And the thing is if you have those good systems in place, those lists that pop up that say call these people today, the online drip campaigns that go regularly so that they're seeing you, you're looking at them on social media because you're friending them and they're accepting because everybody accepts everybody these days. But the key is making sure that you have the system to follow up, because if not, you're just spending money and you're wasting it because there's no follow up.
So online leads, there's some opportunities there, but that's
definitely.
your choice.
Referrals, past clients, 4 out of 5 past clients will give you a referral if you ask for it a year, right? 3 out of 5 on your buyer side will give you. They're happy with you. They love you. They trust you. We just don't pick up the phone, call and check in with them. Don't be salesy. You can follow any method you want on scripts, but don't call them and go, hi, I'm calling to see if you have a referral for me today. If you care about them.
If that's you, more power to you. It'll work once in a while, right?
It will, I guess.
I don't have those stones.
I don't have that either. And the key is here is people are going to, if you care about them and you show them that you care about them, they're going to care about you in reciprocity, right? If you give to them, they're going to give to you in reciprocity. Your past clients are the single biggest referral source you will have over the lifetime of your business, as well as your SOI, your friends, your family, your PTA, the people you stay engaged with. But all back to that every week on the geofarming, it's the same thing. You can't send them the happy anniversary card or the Merry Christmas card once a year and expect to own these people for life. You have to engage in their life, know about their kids, find out about little Joey's broken arm, say good job on the bake sale, right? Do things to engage in their lives that make them feel like you care. The buyers and sellers' single biggest worry in every single report that I've read is that you as an agent only care about their money, and the minute you have it, you bail on them and leave them.
Is that true? Oh,
and
sorry.
You know what?
I'm just kidding. It was a joke.
And 86% of agents never follow up past 1 year. So put your programs in place, put your drip campaigns in place, and your constant touch programs in place, and you will be light years ahead of every other agent out there.
So I've never personally been big on expired listings, but I'm going to say this.
I would rather pour salt in my eye.
This part of the market though, and I if you guys are robocallers, like, I'm not big on the robocallers and all that kind of stuff personally. Okay, I'm not saying it doesn't work for a lot of people, but there are going to be an increasing number of these that are going to come out of the market. For the last 2 or 3 years, everything we put on the market sold, right? So expired listings weren't really a big thing.
Right.
But there are going to be a lot of unsuccessful sales that started from May, June of this year that had unrealistic pricing or unrealistic expectations. These people are coming into the market big time now. And I was talking to Casey with a bunch of stats around this, and more people are running expired, and they were unhappy with their first realtor. And a lot of times it was because they had unrealistic price expectations. But 3 months sitting on the market and nobody giving you the price you want will wake some people up. I think there will be an increasing market for this, over this winter or next spring. These people that failed this summer and fall, they wanted to sell for a reason. They couldn't get the number they wanted, but maybe they're going to want a fresh face. So trying to be there and be that fresh face in a meaningful way, whether it's phone call or something on their doorstep or something. But robocalling is not necessarily going to make a meaningful way, but there's going to be an opportunity for more of these in the future, I think.
Agreed. Psychologically, people are motivated by either fear of failure or success, right? Getting something gained, the win, or the fear that they're going to miss out on something. So there's two psychological effects there. Circle prospecting really weighs into those psychological effects. So when you circle prospect, it means a seller is going on the market and you start calling 5 houses down, 10 across the street, 5, 5, 10, right? We've all grew up with that Tom Ferry method. Was that Mike Ferry or Tom Ferry that did 5, 5, 10, both?
You might have grown up with it. It might have been before.
It might have been Sweat Hogs. I don't remember. But the point.
She just got it.
Already.
1 point, Justin. 1 point. She does.
I do not own a fax machine. Although, do you want a funny?
1 point for Dave. He said she faxes all of her customers.
Not for nothing. Not for nothing. December of 17, when I came here, I told him, I'm like, I need a dedicated fax line into my email.
She did. That was one of her big requests when I was hiring her. So.
I gave up my beeper a long time ago, people. All right,
so
back to circle prospecting. So what does that mean? When you look at 5, 5, 10 as kind of a strategy, and I would tell you if you're going to really circle prospect, do 10, 10, 20, 20 across the street, 10 on each side. The likelihood is that a seller around them, the reason why it works is it taps into that psychological aspect of what do they know that I don't? They're going to get something that I'm not going to get. Or what if their house sells for more than my house and my house is better than their house so I can get more? Like it taps into that, why are they moving? Why are they moving? What do they know that I don't know, right? It actually hits both sides of the psychological buying pattern and the psychological selling pattern when you do circle prospecting. It also lets communities people are thinking about it, and it's that water cooler, right? They see somebody selling, they see somebody selling, they see somebody selling. Think about the stuff that I've taught in the past on the bell curve. The psychological bell curve of sales that you have to see and hear and do 12 times before you got to get in that zone of, let me think about this, right? They've been on militaryowner.com. They've been on realtor.com. They've looked at Zillow. They've looked at all these places, and they're thinking about it. Their spouse may not even think they're thinking about it. I mean, you weren't looking at a house when Meredith called you and said, we're moving, right? So there are things where that they're looking and they're thinking about it even when the people that are close to them don't know, and sometimes you as their agent knows before the spouse. Circle prospecting is a great way to tap into those people. Again, it is fairly cold. However, you can call them and go, hi, did you realize your neighbor down the street was selling? I wanted to tell you a little bit more about what they're selling for and what the market's doing right now. So circle prospecting is a great way to develop listings surrounding that listing.
FSBO listing, another one that I would
I would rather pour salt in
my eye out, but
I'll circle prospect all day long, but FSBOs and expireds, I'm like.
But I think there's two labels in here, and it kind of goes with expireds in a little bit. There are a lot of people the last 2 or 3 years that thought they could do it themselves on different websites because everybody could do it and they could get lots of money, or could hire some company for $3,000 or $5,000 or just pay $500. I'll put in the MLS for it. A lot of these people are failing the last 3 to 6 months. They're not getting what they wanted. They're not as happy as they want to be. They're going to see it. The process is they need professional realtors again. If they always did, but they might not have been convinced of that for a little bit. So that's why these FSBOs may be an easier conversation going forward.
I love representing a buyer on a FSBO.
Yes.
I eat them. I love it.
And then the last one is agent referrals.
Is agent referrals. Guys, you are missing a huge window if you do not have agents in other areas where a lot of your people are going. This year, for whatever reason, I had every listing I had. They moved out of the area from Texas to California to Tennessee to Florida. I've got agents in all of the markets where people go. I will tap other people's agent referrals. I've called Candace and said, I've got a friend that's looking in OBX. I know you just bought a place in OBX. Who did you use? I'm going to send a referral down there. You can have an ancillary business model and an ancillary revenue stream by just making agent referrals in other areas, accepting those, paying a good referral fee. They'll call you every time. Please do make sure if someone refers you that you do pay them. Don't let it slide because they're never going to refer somebody else to you again, right? So do the right thing, be integrity, make sure that you track it and that you are.
And most of us are afraid to do, not most, but some of us are afraid. Look, I didn't do this a lot. Like people move out of the area, I'm like, all right, great, I'll get your sale here. Well, look, they trust you to sell here unless they already know their mother or their sister or their cousin. They're like, let me find a great realtor for you. An hour on the phone, and don't just pull up somebody and give them the name.
Have the conversation, talk to them.
Pull up the 5 or 10 realtors, have conversations with them. Figure out who's responsive, who's nice, who's ethical, who thinks the way you do. A 10-minute, 15-minute phone conversation, you can feel great about this realtor. Check out the reviews. Now, if you give this person, you are really doing what's best for your client because you know what to look for in that next realtor of theirs, and you're going to get commission back from it. And look, I only did it once in my career. I was like, I'm going to do this. I can do it. I know sometimes I didn't do everything I should, right? But I spent the hour, 2 hours, called some people in North Carolina, and then all of a sudden 6 months later, I got a $4,000 check roll, and I was like, well, that was pretty awesome. So there is a good market for this stuff if you're not willing to be afraid to do it.
Well, and the other thing too is if you keep a good relationship with your people, and you keep that relationship even after they leave. So when they left here, I had a client that just called me the other day. We ratified last night. They called me the other day, and they said, when we moved out of there, you gave us an agent down there. Is that still the same agent that you would give us today? So I couldn't even remember who I gave them. Not for nothing. But since then, we've moved into that area. So I was able to call one of our agents and say, hey, can you work with them for me down there? Great. We're doing the deal. They're coming back up here. But stay in touch with your people. They're going to call you a lot of times because you're the trusted relationship. They've used that other person once. They've used you a lot, and you've stayed in their lives, and you've talked to them on Facebook, and you've texted them, say how you doing, and you've sent them a video going, I miss your face, and you've written them handwritten notes, right? Do all the things to make people feel loved.
Do you miss the rest of them or just their face?
You just tell them you miss their face? And sometimes when you can't think of something to say to somebody because you haven't been a part of their lives in so long, saying, hey, I miss you, or I miss your face goes a long way for how people, I do that. I will send a random letter that says, hey, I miss your face, Sarah. I will get a phone call.
It's actually a funny saying. I'm just giving
I get the phone call every single time, and isn't that truly what we're trying to get?
One last point on agent referrals, and we're going to move on. We're going to bring Carrie Reed up.
I could talk about this all day.
On the Nest, and I know we could keep going, but on the Nest, you can put different states. If you're licensed in other states, and maybe they're not there, maybe they're not, if somebody's licensed in Iowa, they're not maybe your Iowa agent, but if they're licensed there, they probably have contacts there. It might be a good place to reach out.
They know good people.
And make that connection. So they're on there. Look, we go now West Virginia down to Richmond. We've got people down in Virginia Beach. We've got all the way up to Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware. We've got great people in Delaware. We've got great agents just within our company all over that you can refer. But just want to make sure you guys knew on the Nest, you can sort by all those areas and find great connections all over. Adam Shively, I talked about earlier with 4-State, he's no dummy. After the thing, he walked right up to Jason Cheperdyke. He said, I'm your guy in West Virginia. And he was already starting to make a relationship there because he knows somebody like that is going to have some contacts to move over. So find good contacts within our company as well. It's one advantage to having such a large company with great people
Leverage the size.
Carrie and Reed, can you hear my voice or whoever's over there?
All right. I didn't even know they were here. I didn't see you guys. Hello.
Well, that's actually why I moved on to the other topic is I didn't know you were here. That's what I was mouthing to you, Bethany. Are Carrie and Reed here? Shannon figured it out. You were hiding. I can't see you over there. So welcome, Carrie and Reed from Cardinal Title Group.
Where's the other mic, guys? We need one more mic. Oh,
there's another one.
Oh, there's
right here.
Right
Walking past it. There you go.
Oh, Rachel.
Hello, Rachel. You get your own mic. Do you guys want this?
Sure.
You gonna introduce her, or are you just gonna stare at her and smile?
How you doing, JR?
Good. How are you?
Good. Even more. Everybody seems to know her. Our
get in.
rockstar Fairfax processor, Rachel. My girl. Okay. How many years have you worked at Cardinal?
6 years now.
6 years.
I was gonna say you got to be almost 7, right?
7 in February, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
so-
are thrilled to have Rachel. Yes, she's been a great asset to this office, as you all know. She's worked at Cardinal for 6 years, has moved up through the ranks, so she knows everything, and she's just a great resource for everybody in the office.
I don't know about everything.
Everything.
Let's not put the expectations
All
too
the
high.
things.
So if you're in
Yes.
Fairfax, stop by and say hi to Rachel. And if
Yes.
you've been processed by Rachel before, then this is Rachel. And now you can put a name to a face. There you go.
My contracts go straight to you.
Yeah. He sends them all straight over.
I know.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right.
We're good to go? Okay. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Rachel goes, I'm
Rachel's
going to
going to
work
go
now.
process some files. That's
Thank
it.
you. I'm sure they're racking up over there.
Thanks, Rachel.
And you all had some other people you wanted to?
We do. We have a
go
lot of
through?
people we'd like to highlight today, but before we do, I heard a little bit of talk about assumptions.
Oh,
And
okay.
Cardinal does assumptions.
There you go.
Some of us are old, and we remember the last time
Carrie,
assumptions were
stop
popular.
admitting that we're old.
I wasn't saying you're old.
No,
I'm
but
just
we've
saying
been doing
there's
this the
some
same
us-
length of time.
Yeah. Some of us remember assumptions the first time. So from a title perspective, we've had a few already closed. We have a few in the works. We have one that got subordinate financing, so it is out there. And I think obviously we're going to see a lot more assumptions. So Cardinal is the home of assumptions. If you got one, send it our way.
The
We know how to
home
do
of
'em.
assumptions.
The new slogan?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sam can come up with a clever title for a class if you want.
Yes.
Give me 3 minutes.
Okay, perfect, Sam. Sounds good.
Our first one is assumptions about assumptions.
That's the class.
Ooh,
That's what's
yeah,
going to be called.
yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
Is that when you cussed?
That's when I cuss.
That's what she does. Can't take her anywhere, can I, Reed?
Know me well,
That's
Reed.
all right.
Know me well.
That's all right.
Like a regular
Can you
sale.
repeat a
Repeat
little
the
bit of
question
that?
because
Yeah, so how do the closing costs work? There are still charges to the buyer and to the seller, and there's still owner's title insurance to the buyer. Generally, there is not a new lender's policy, but there is a new owner's policy that covers the buyer.
There you go. So who are we introducing today? This
So-
lovely man behind us.
Last week we introduced all our processors, and this week we wanted to get everyone introduced to our attorneys and settlement agents. So
He
settlement
looks
agents
so
in
stoic.
general.
He does, he does.
He's normally smiling more than
I
that.
know. I've never seen him like.
This is a serious brand.
He's like-
is this picture.
It's very
Yeah, an
stoic and
attorney
serious.
picture, that's right.
So Brand's one of our attorneys in Chantilly. You've probably seen him at the settlement table. He doesn't do as many settlements as some of our other just settlement agents, but he's been with us 4 years, maybe?
4
Probably
years.
4-ish years. And he's very knowledgeable. Him and Rob Bodine do a lot of the attorney type work. So Brand's one of our best. They're all our best.
Yeah. You gotta be careful when you say that. You're gonna say
Everyone's the best.
Somebody's gonna be like, "What about me?"
I'm gonna have to use that now. Another one of our best.
The next best.
This is Sybil, also located in Chantilly. She's a settlement attorney. And if you have a settlement that's not in Chantilly, but you need an attorney, one of our attorneys can travel to another location, or you can know that most of our attorneys are headquartered in Chantilly and in Woodbridge. But if you've got a situation where you need an attorney somewhere else, just let us know. We'll try our best to accommodate you by sending an attorney there to conduct the closing.
Yeah, we have various of those this week, actually.
Carrie will do it herself.
Yeah, no problem. I'll be there.
I was
This,
joking about Carrie. Well, if she needs to, she's
Yeah,
there.
I'll be
maybe.
there.
This is Garrett Mooney. Some of you probably have, or a lot of you probably know him. He's been around.
Garrett.
Garrett.
He's been around since
Everybody
really the very
knows
beginning.
Garrett.
Yes.
Everybody loves Garrett.
He's been around longer than probably Donnie and I, really, technically.
Ooh.
I think
Garrett is the nicest guy.
Yes.
He always smiles. I've never heard him raise his voice. He's just the sweetest guy known to man.
yes, he's one of our best settlement agents. But he's been
Carry on
around.
saying that. But
He's been around forever, and everyone who's had a closing with him, I'm sure, has had nothing but an amazing
Everybody loves them some Garrett. Oh, Jeanette.
Jeanette's also in Chantilly, an experienced settlement agent. She worked in processing and pre-processing before being a settlement agent, so she really understands the whole process from soup to nuts and understands how everything works.
She does a great settlement too. I've had her a
Yes.
couple of times here recently, and she does a great settlement.
Mary Fredenberg is out of our Woodbridge office. So any of you who've closed in Woodbridge, and maybe some in Montclair as well, have or Stafford, Montclair.
yes.
Yes.
I get a little confused once you go that far. Mary's an attorney.
Sarah does too. It's okay.
Yeah, it all blurs together. But Mary's an
All
attorney
blurs
and
together.
does our settlements stationed out of our Woodbridge office. She's been with us for 4-ish years as well. We're just going to say 4 years and that everyone's the best is what I'm just going to keep saying. But she's wonderful. She does all the settlements and does a lot of the attorney work as well out of that Woodbridge office.
Oh.
Mike Miller in Gainesville.
Got his
Mike
mugshot
is
up
a
there.
Mary has a glamour shot. Michael did his mug shot.
I think the police took this picture for him.
Mike is great in person.
It
and
pained him to take this picture, I'm sure as
He was
well.
not happy with this, I'm sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
he so needs a new picture.
But
He always smiles.
but Michael's a delight in person.
he's a
Yes.
delight in person. He's all over. He's in Culpeper. He's in Winchester. He's in Leesburg. He's in Gainesville. So Mike is really a traveler and covers all those offices for us and does a terrific job.
Michael Palermo. So Michael was headquartered out of Chantilly. He actually
he's another smiley one.
He's wonderful. He's maybe the nicest guy you'll ever meet. He's one of the
He was
best.
also the rocking Santa for anybody that was here
He
back
was
in the
Rocking
day.
Santa,
That
and
was
also
Rockin'
won
Santa.
like agent of or staff member of the year last year.
Yes.
Cardinal, if I recall. So
Yeah, so he-
Nicest guy
he's been
ever.
doing
Mr.
lots
all
of stuff.
around.
He
Yeah.
started out in post-closing, moved over to settlements. He was in Chantilly, but now he's headquartered in our Alexandria office. And anyone, obviously, yes. who's had a settlement with him, I'm sure knows how wonderful he is.
Jess, give Michael some
Yeah,
shout-outs.
He's great.
All right, we got Robin Chantilly, another Chantilly attorney.
So this is, I'm just going to make a side note. We have asked Cardinal title staffers to come get their headshots with Justin.
Why would you
Because-
need to
Why?
when you
Why
have?
would you need to when we can expose you to
Rob.
the best part is we don't know what's coming next on this slide.
Right,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we're making it
The
interesting.
1970s panel, Rob.
Hey,
Poor Rob's getting dragged on his picture.
But I will say, this is what he really looks like. And I know sometimes the agents, sometimes your pictures are not the most recent. This is what our people really look like.
this was last week.
Rob's great. He's headquartered in Chantilly. Lots and lots of experience. He's got lots of experience with foreclosures, short sales, all that kind of stuff too. So he's our local expert on some of those.
Then we have Sabrina. So she's also.
Yep. For any of you at home that doesn't know, Katie V's in the front row.
And she just got here a few minutes ago.
So we haven't had our normal,
The energy picked up.
Yes.
Katie got here about 10 minutes ago.
I think we lost her picture, but Sabrina was out of Woodbridge. Now she's not out of Chantilly like that says, but she's out of Woodbridge or Montclair, Stafford. Fredericksburg. She kind of travels all over that area as well. She's bilingual, so if you have any Spanish requests, any settlements that you would like to have done in Spanish, just give us a heads up and we can accommodate with our schedule. Say what? If you can give us a heads up, like a week's notice, if the contract comes in and you want to let us know, yes, we can make it work.
You said, could she come to Tyson's? I'm sitting here reading an email, and I thought you said, does she bring appetizers? I was like, she does?
Yes.
Sarah was going to request Sabrina for every settlement.
Sabrina is for every
With
settlement
appetizers.
now.
Appetizers is in Spanish.
My stomach was growling when I thought that, yeah.
And speaking of Tyson's, we've got Steve. A
Mr.
lot of cheers for
Steve.
Steve.
I would like to cheer. This is my man.
Steve's been a great addition. I can tell by how many cheers he just got. You guys think so too. He's been a terrific addition to Cardinal.
Oh, really? Really? I get. This is Ben.
Aww.
Ben
Brother love.
Ben happens
It's
to be my
baby
little
JR.
brother.
It's baby JR.
He joined us about a year ago. He's headquartered out of Chantilly, but he also does the majority of the settlements in Fairfax. So some of you of this office, he's a good guy sometimes.
He's great.
Oh,
no,
the
but
brother came out. I have had Ben do a settlement for me, and he did a great
If
job.
you have any complaints, let
Yeah.
me know.
He's excellent.
If you have any complaints about Ben, go right to Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have any
Speak with my
complaints
mother.
about Ben, please, for Ben's sake, go to Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't get any complaints.
Unless.
Scott Lee, a lot of cheers for Scott Lee. He's been a great addition, super experienced, can handle anybody in the closing room. There's nothing he hasn't seen and he's already taken care of.
So that's everyone.
Fantastic crew there. Fantastic crew.
Any questions for Cardinal
So,
or any of the staff? I know
Just
we
as
did a
one
lot
quick
of-
note, because there is a slide behind before Donnie goes off on questions, is if you guys have a great experience with Cardinal, please do leave them a review. People tend to, there is a Cardinal title in another part of the country that is not us, and evidently they suck.
They're not good.
And we want to make sure that
But if
people
you have
around
a bad
here,
experience, put it on their page, not ours.
Yes. That was nice.
Right. I'll share that link with y'all too.
Yes. But if you've had a good settlement,
funny,
please.
Reed. Good
Like
one.
that?
That was good, JR.
Been saving it
But
for
go ahead and
days.
put that on there just because we're trying to differentiate. We're trying to make it easier for our listing agents that are asking for Cardinal to be in the closing on the buy side. We're trying to make it a little easier for them. Aladdin, we need a mic for Aladdin.
Quick question. Why would someone need an attorney at the title company?
Need probably isn't, sometimes I think a lot of people and, attorneys worked very hard to get that title. I think a lot of people just feel more comfortable sometimes.
Carrie
when
goes,
an
let's hear
attorney-
where you're going with this, JR. Yes.
Right?
Maybe we'll let Carrie answer this one. No, I'm just kidding. No, you were doing fine. I was just
Go
joking.
ahead.
Carrie, please.
I think it truly is. In a lot of cases with agents historically, it's just been personal preference. It's versus, now there are definitely times, and Carrie can elaborate when that might be the best, that she is the attorney, but from a practitioner standpoint, some companies have said, oh, an attorney always closes. And and it became personal preference for some agents.
Attorneys definitely have that deeper level of knowledge
Yeah.
that I think, in my opinion, it might only apply a small percentage of the time.
A small percentage of the time.
A great settlement agent like Garrett or Michael or all these guys that have done, Michael's done 3,000 closings at this point. You know, they probably have seen a lot of things,
Yeah.
but the attorney, Scott Lee is an attorney, right?
Not an
No.
attorney.
But Scott Lee's done 10,000 closings and been in the title business for 25
and
years.
I think it has a lot to do with personality, and Carrie can probably attest to this too. If you've got an attorney with a good personality, they're going to be fine. But if you've got an attorney that's dry as mud, then what's going to happen is they could potentially make the settlement table worse because they're not glossing over things and bringing to.
But we don't have anyone like that.
No.
Versus,
Of course
yes,
not.
no, yeah.
I do.
We'll
think
let the
it's
actual
really-
attorney
Yeah, we'll
answer
let
the
the actual
question.
attorney answer since the three of us have all given our opinions.
So, Kip Dick.
Sure.
We
I
get
would
the
say
request sometimes.
It truly is personal preference. I think sometimes when your client is an attorney, they're looking for an attorney to be the leader of that closing. Other times when we have people who are really fighting it out, they think an attorney is going to be able to handle that better at the settlement table. And also we have like an estate where we have 10 heirs, everybody isn't on the same place, we have a divorce. Sometimes in those complicated things, people do want to see an attorney at the table to kind of hash out some of the issues that are, bound to come up at the actual closing table.
But the
But
other
it's
thing
just
to,
personal preference, honestly.
the other thing to note too, though, is those attorneys don't represent the buyer or the seller; they represent the contract.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
they think sometimes, oh, I'm going to have this attorney here; they're going to represent me. They're not. They're going to represent what the contract terms say.
And much to my dismay, the attorney thought that we need them at the table was when, look, 5 years ago, 95% of our closings, everybody was here.
Yeah.
And I think you all attest that 95% of closings now, it's not both sides at the same time, all six of us sitting around the
This is
table.
the biggest practical debate that Donnie and I will have.
Which
He
I
loved-
don't love. I wish everybody still sat at the table and exchanged stories about the neighborhood and moved on.
No.
I understand your all's point why you don't want it. I get it. But I have my own point. But attorneys were much more important than if there was a situation between the two sides. They felt like, okay, an attorney here gave it a little bit more respect
review
and a
and, yeah.
different level of
And to the defense of the
expertise that
attorneys,
they
they're doing a bunch more work, in-depth work
Yeah. Oh,
prior
sure.
to settlement.
I just
too.
mean at
So-
the
right,
table.
right.
Sure,
Table.
sure.
Yeah.
And obviously, the attorneys are doing a lot of attorney
Right.
stuff behind the scenes to clear the title, make sure we're, have the right people signing, and doing more in-depth knowledge on that. Certainly at the table, but we're happy to have people come. If your buyer wants to come at the same time as the seller,
Yep.
bring it on. We'd love to have people come at the same time.
It's actually a lot easier for y'all because
It's
Right.
so much easier for
Yeah.
us if people come at the same
Yeah.
time.
One
Logistically.
closing instead of two is great
Right.
for Cardinal.
But that's not occurring very frequently, but we're happy to do it. If everybody'd love to come at one time, we'd love to see everybody at one time. If you prefer to keep people separate, that's certainly fine with us too. It's just what your preference is. And we're happy to send an attorney anywhere that you need to close. If you are in a situation with a divorcing couple and you want to be able to say an attorney is going to do the closing, or another contentious situation, or your client is an attorney. In Maryland, we have mostly attorneys who do the closing. So 95% of our Maryland closings are done by settlement attorneys. In Virginia, it's a little bit different. We have mostly settlement agents, and we do have some settlement attorneys as well.
Good question, Aladdin. Any other questions before we let Carrie and Reed exit stage right? All right.
All right,
They're-
thanks everybody.
they're-
Love Fairfax.
They're going to go back and make everybody at Cardinal get headshots on the way back to the office. I think that's the goal. Is anybody at First Heritage here? Okay. All right. Well, my man Peyton should get props because we're Instagram friends because I coached Peyton in high school at football.
Oh my God. Peyton
But
still comes
that
up
is
and
where I
goes,
got the
"Hi,
idea.
Coach."
No, he calls me
Peyton,
coach.
you brown noser.
He calls me coach. I love it. But that is actually where I got the idea on his Instagram feed, was the social
Yes.
media feed. I didn't like everything about that graphic, but that's where I got the idea to adapt ours.
Yes.
So shout out to
Yeah, he
Peyton.
needs to get the props
Peyton
for
is
that.
great with First Heritage Mortgage, and he is around the Fairfax office
And he's
a
done
lot.
some loans for me as well. He's a really good loan officer. He's very hungry. He tries really hard. Great personality. Good loan officer.
Quick reminder on this, Lynn Hamilton. Hi, Lynn. We love Lynn.
Lynn's challenge is going on right now.
Lynn's Q4 challenge. We've talked about it the last two sales meetings in Maryland and Tyson's, but or I guess DC and Tyson's.
Yes. It's going on now.
On the Nest Q4 challenge, it's not too late to jump in. It's all about accountability. Even if you're not going to win October, jump in, do the
things.
Do the things. It's all about creating that game plan, accountability, having others in it with you. Do something every day to further your business. A lot of us get to the office and we putz around, to Jason's point yesterday, with things that aren't making us money.
Yeah.
We're spending too much time on the ancillary stuff that isn't really pushing us forward. As I drop that. Nice catch, though.
Good catch.
But if we are more focused on things that are, and that's to Lynn's point, that are earning us money, creating ideas, marketing, get in there and do the Q4 challenge, you're going to have the tasks, the non-negotiables, as Jason called it yesterday. Those are the things you got to put on your list. I got to do these. These are going to further my career. So jump into the Q4 challenge.
And I'll
it's
also
awesome.
say, here's why it's necessary. How many of us would love to say, oh, I need to go to the gym?
I would love to say that.
I would love to say, I will say right now, I need to go to the gym. Do you think I'm going to go to the gym? No. Because I'm not. And here's why.
Why not, Sarah?
And here's why. I have a high dominant personality that I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do, right? But 2, I've got no one that I'm accountable to
Katie
that's
V will go
going
with you.
to meet me at the gym. At the coffee shop.
The coffee shop.
But
We're going to do a pastry and coffee instead of the gym.
But I've got no one that's going to meet me at the gym to make me go, right? When I used to go to the gym all the time, it was because my girlfriend would call and she's like, I don't want to go to the gym today. And I'd say, I don't want to go to the gym either. She's like, all right, I'll see you at 4. And I'm like, all right, I'll see you at 4. Because that is the accountability. Donnie has said it a million times, and it's so true. The best part about being in this business is you're your own boss. The worst part about being in this business is you're your own boss. If you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it, right? So and I have said for years, real estate agents are largely unemployable by everyone else because we don't want to do what we don't want to do, right? And we're not going to do it. So the reason these challenges work so well is it not only spurs your competitive spirit, but it holds you accountable to a set of tasks that you need to do to grow your business. And then when you start having results, the 5 pounds comes off and the pants fit a little better, then you're willing to go a little bit more, and you're willing to go a little bit more, and then you have that accountability, and now all of a sudden you've got traction, and you're creating your habits, and you've got good habits moving forward. So jump in, do the tasks, go to the gym, call your peeps, earn some dollars, earn the dollars.
Yes.
Yes.
So to piggyback on that, Lynn is also doing a class today at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
Buyer consultations.
Yes.
Here in Fairfax, and I believe we're live streaming that as well, Justin. There you
Yes,
go.
we are.
Heads up to that. So the last one of the last things I want to put on here before we do the cardinal names is our lovely market reports, which are not as pretty as we would like them to be, but we do want you to stay educated.
Ooh, there's a lot of red on there.
As a reminder, on the top, Samson Cardinal Nest, go to top resources in the top left. All your market reports, there's 19 separate levels. 19, you can do this association, this county. But this is for they were recording the last 2 minutes of what I said. I'm reading that back to me on my watch. But let's be clear, they're recording everything I say. It's just a matter of whether they're activating that.
Yes.
DC metro areas. This is the whole DC metro area. You want to have an overall view of the market. Obviously, we talk about these things in generalities all the time. But new listings here's a positive green.
Yes.
They're up 21% from August to September. That's awesome stuff. That means listings are coming into this marketplace.
Now, but again,
5,900 to 7,100, that's a big jump.
Very local, right?
Yeah.
Real estate's always local. So don't look at this graph and go, oh, listings are up 22% across the board. They're not. Some price brackets, some geographic locations, you need to look and see how that applies to your market.
But down from last year, to this year, but still up from August to September, so there's some positive there. Pendings are down from August. These are under contracts in September.
Right, no inventory, no pendings.
Not shocking to us. Closed sales, people talk, this is actually a better number than what we've seen lately, though.
Yes.
I know this seems shocking. It's down 13.7% from August and 27% from the year. We've seen most of those have been in the 20s and 30s the last couple of months if we looked at that. So it's a little bit better with some more closed sales recently.
Yes.
Your average sales price, this is not shocking to anybody, but it shot straight up. When you look at it in graph form, it's interesting, right? Well, we know it's come down a little bit from those peaks of May, June, July.
And again, guys, this doesn't necessarily mean the market's changing and the prices are falling. It means that it was not priced appropriately here. It was an unsustainable market condition. We're back into...
It looks like a big hump, but that's really March pricing, what it's even with right now.
Yeah.
What happened is we hit this big bump in May, June that was stupid, a little bit, and some of those things were overinflated. And we're still at a great point. We're still much higher than last year's prices, and we're at that March level. So we're still in a good spot. Average days on market, obviously it's gone up. That's not shocking from 19 to 24. We've all felt that a little bit. And, you are obviously negotiating a little bit more, almost as low as the 5-year lowest has been. in the last 5 years. So there's more negotiation now in the marketplace than really at any time in the last 5 years, or almost as any time, which is not crazy for any of us. We feel that.
I did call. This is a funny aside. I did call about this. I scheduled an appointment to show a house, and I haven't shown it yet. I'm showing it tonight. But the agent called me last night thinking the showing was last night. And she goes, hi, can I get feedback on the house? And I said, I haven't shown it yet. And she goes, aren't you going tonight? I'm like, no, I'm going tomorrow night. And she goes, my seller is calling me every 13 minutes. She said, I've been on the market one day. She's called me 9 times. Why hasn't it sold yet? Why hasn't it sold yet? So agents are feeling.
Do not do this.
Please do not do this.
You have a funny story, but as a listing agent, I don't care if your seller is doing that. Don't say that to Sarah.
Right, because what's going to happen
what
when I
does
show
Sarah
this house?
think now? I'm going for the kill. Her offer just dropped 10 or 15 grand based on that conversation. At least it should have.
That's right.
Okay, so
It's dropping more than that, people. I'm doing a 3% buy down.
So the one more stat I'll point out here. I did point, look, listings are way out from August to September. That's great. But I will say this. The 5-year, the lowest active listings. This is the number of listings on the market. This is the least amount of inventory we've had in 5 years. The average is 10.4. 81.64 is obviously the min. We've had big markets here. So even though we can negotiate more, there's still not enough out there. So it's still a good time to sell. You can get out there. There's not as much competition as normal. So these are competing things all over the place, but you need to know all sides of the coin and what's going on.
So one quick note that you need to ask your lender about when you're talking to your lender, especially if you're getting price considerations. And with Donnie's point, it just spurred my brain power here. You can take up to a 3% seller concession on a rate buy down. You also can take more concessions if the seller is willing to give them for regular closing cost. You need to make sure your lender will allow it. But I have seen several lenders come back recently that I've talked to and said that they're doing 4 and 4.5 and 5% concessions because the 3% or 2% or whatever is written in the contract in such a way that it says seller will provide buyer 2% concessions to be used towards rate buy down only. And that gets taken off the table for the loan concessions. All it does is buy down the rate, and then they can have additional loan concessions. So that may be something you need to talk to your lender about if you're in a scenario where you can get that for your buyer.
I would flip this on its head too. Look, we're talking a lot about buy down the rate if you want to get a little bit more easy rate and ask the seller to pay for it. But if you're putting this kind of information in your listings, there are many buyer's agents that haven't had these conversations in their brokerage and that aren't communicating with others. We know they're just hiding in their own house and they're coming out once in a while to show houses and they don't have this community of people educating each other.
They're not attending masterminds.
If you
they're not
put
watching sales meetings.
notes in the remarks about seller will buy down the rate. Now make sure your seller's at a point they're willing to do this stuff. Seller will give closing costs. Get a rate at 1 or 2% lower than market rate. Whatever you want to do as a teaser, that those are okay because you can literally put that 1 or 2% down and you can make that person's rate go from 5 to 6 or 6.5 to 5.5. And those can make a big difference to that buyer. Just putting in the remarks or teasers about that, it might entice some buyers or buyer agents that don't know how to instruct their buyers to have that conversation. And maybe all of a sudden that house is more affordable or it jumps out of the 5 that are on the market. They may be like, well, this one's willing to buy down my rate. When really, reality, all of them could buy down the rate, but they just don't know any better as buyers. So it's a thought. All right, so new listings. Obviously, Sarah made the point, that was for the whole DC area. Look locally. PWAR, it is still down from August, September, but the rest of these are up. GCAR, which is and NVR are the biggest two associations that we look at. Those are up 20 and 40%. So there are a lot more listings.
Wow, look at DC
City. DC, now it's a smaller number, but it's still up 78%. So it's gone up a lot from August to September. That's good stuff.
Y'all are getting some inventory.
And not as much down from last year to this year. So those are encouraging things. New pendings are down across the board, just different percentage points. Closed sales are down. Fairly neutral, 10 to 20% across here, and 20 to 30% from last September to this September. And then sales prices. Obviously, those numbers were up around 9 and 10% up. They're down to 1, 3, 5, 6% up year over year. So it's not as much as it was. DC City's pretty flat, but still great pricing situation from last year to this year. And days on market are up. It makes no sense to go through all those.
But it's really not up a lot for those of you that don't have a lot of inventory. I mean, I'm seeing it slide 1 or 2 days in a lot of communities. I'm sure there's other communities that are saturated with listings. But the days on market, people talk about, it's so slow. Okay, it's taking 7 days instead of 1. It's taken 17 days instead of 12. Like, we're still not in a balanced, normalized market. I mean, who has been in the business, or not many, but who's had the days where listings sat on the market for 6 months?
Well, yeah. I mean,
like, this is not a normal market. We're still so far ahead of the rest of the world.
I'll never forget sitting at a Virginia Run listing appointment, a great neighborhood in Centerville, that I sat with them, and they had a nice house. It was $625,000-ish. We had 18 active listings in their neighborhood, in the price bracket between $575 and $675, and one had gone under contract in the last 30 days. So that's how you look at, how much is the absorption rate. It's like, okay, guys, I know you want 624 for your house. It's beautiful. We have 18 competitors, and we've had one contract in the last 30 days. So we're probably only going to get 1 or 2 contracts in the next 30 days. Why are they going to pick yours out of 18? That is a different market to be in, where you're like, I don't know how I'm going to sell this house. We are not at this point now. We're at a good balanced situation where there are buyers for it if it's priced appropriately and sells appropriately. And that one, I don't know how you get it to sell. Like I don't know, you bribe them out the back door or something,
Well, and
are going to be 1 out of 18.
And I've gone from telling listings, look, we can't put lipstick on a pig anymore. Now we need to sparkle.
Yep.
So find your words so that they know what you mean, right? You don't have to go into the details. So, the client responds back, what do I have to do to make it sparkle? Great, here's what we're going to do.
Closing it up here, we got our marketing education days. We still got 2 in November coming up, and then back here, December 1st in Fairfax, and December 15th in Gainesville. Our marketing team comes in, teaches lots of great stuff. Look, if you can't make it to, maybe you're a Fairfax agent, get to the Chantilly one. If you want to get that marketing education earlier, you also can always reach out to our team ahead of time and get some one-on-one training, or come to these classes. Lynn's class, obviously.
Yeah,
Today, Talking Social with Brittany. Mastermind groups every Thursday. Look, even if you don't fall into the dollar value that it says $2.5 to $5 million, if you do more or less than that, you can always pop into the Zoom. Don't try to dominate the conversation because it's really meant for the people in that bucket, but you can learn from everybody, right? So if you got the time. 2 ears, 1 mouth,
people. 2 ears,
2 ears, 1 mouth. Pop into that Zoom and hear what everybody else is having to say. Lynn, follow-ups, resource refreshers. They're going to be out in the Lake Ridge office. That's KV Core and Sky Slope.
Yep.
Classes.
Contract Friday.
Contracts and First Heritage every Friday. Sky Slope, the orientation schedule we gave you before. They're all over the place teaching our great orientation classes. My man Aladdin's in the crowd today. He's our director of commercial. He does a great job with all that. He's done Q&As every Monday, but you can always reach out to Aladdin. A lot more agents out there looking for those new income streams or that new level of business. Aladdin's a great mentor and a great teacher of commercial. Reach out to him if you want to dive into that.
Well, the other piece of it is don't just say I don't do commercial because they're going to go to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Say commercial's not my focus, but I've got a great commercial broker in our office. Let me make an introduction and we'll sit down and chat with them.
Right.
Get the referral fee. Get the referral fee.
Aladdin will be happy to give you a referral fee for new business. Ribbon Lunch is going to be here in Fairfax next Monday, it looks like. Another print marketing class. Got potlucks at Tyson's and orientations. All this stuff is on the Nest. Business planning class next Tuesday with First Heritage. I think that's Liz and Rob continuing, and that's in their First Heritage
That's
office.
their Fairfax, Germantown Road. The other thing, too, is keep an eye on the calendar. We're always going to update the calendar. We're always going to put our newest things on. As the year finishes out, we are going to be, I'm pulling out my fat pants. We're doing potlucks in the offices. We want people to come in. We want people to eat. We want to break bread. We want to see you. We will put those calendars, we'll put up those up on the Nest as well in the calendar. We have a lot of them. We are going to do our best to make every single one. We're trying to coordinate a schedule now, but come out. It doesn't have to be your office. You can come to whatever one I had people last year that went to 7 or 8 of them with us. You are welcome to go to as many as you want, just RSVP, bring a dish. We do white elephant gift exchanges sometimes. There are some offices that really enjoy their booze. Dude, what's the, this is my drinking, I do wine. What's the big one called? The big bottle of booze? What's the big? No, a liter, a handle. They were bringing, thank you, sir. Like I knew somebody was going to get
Sam's like, I have a lot of words. Pick
a word!
I'm going to eventually nail what it is you're looking for.
They brought the big old hunkin' bottles of booze, and I'm thinking, what happened to the little itty bitty airline bottles? But they brought the big old bottles of booze, and they were spreading around. So
we will have some fun during the holidays.
We will have a lot of fun. We invite you to participate. We're going to do our best to get to all of them, but keep an eye on the Nest because they're going to be coming soon as well.
Our last thing we're going to close with is a thank you to all these people. Now, look, I know it takes a couple minutes to go through these names, but this is the lifeblood of our business. We appreciate your support always, but especially we get in this fall and winter time period. look, practically speaking, there are less transactions going on. The more we can get at Cardinal Title Group, the more it helps us continue to build the best company for you all at Samson and Cardinal. Please pour into us. They will take fantastic care of you. If anything, they're going to give even more care the next 6 months because they have great staff and there's typically less transactions. So you're going to get more personal focus. But please do what you can to get those deals to Cardinal Title Group. Well, and we will take great care of you.
And I would say, even just as a side note, and he doesn't know I'm going to say this, which he's probably slightly scared. We have put a lot of new tools and resources in place. We've done the showing team, which is leveraging all of our agents across our footprint to be able to work with us to show properties and do inspections and pick up clients. You know, we've added testimonial tree to roll out testimonials. KV Core is a big bill. Like, there's a lot of resources that we're pouring into, and we still want to continue to add. We have a list of another 5 to 6 that we're looking at and we're talking to, but we have to be able to pay for those. So every deal you give to Cardinal Title, it means the world to us, and we don't take it for granted, because I can then say, now we can put this new program in and we can roll this out to the agents. Now I can put this new system in and we can roll it out to the agents. So you giving back to us allows us to continue to pour in and give back to you and all the resources and tools that are going to help your business.
Yes,
So
can you do
Cardinal
the
all
first
the way.
page for me?
Thank you. I will do that. I do not know how to say his name. He did this to me on purpose.
No.
Bud Urimiyu Kasimajurjang. Nailed it! Yes. Abul Hosen, Adrian Slight, Azimadi Aziar, 2 times. Thank you. Alex Torres, Amanda Adams, 2 times. Ambar Condor, Angie Hill, Antoinette Hilton, our boys Arsalan and Saad Jamil, Aslan Etihade, Austin Southern, Ben Oxley 2 times, Bessie Mosen, Bishuda Dahal, Bobby Shahal, Bola Bosmandan, Brad Maletti, Brandy Edwards, and Candy Ferguson. I am sorry, I got some names on that one.
Miss Candace Astroff. Good
Whoop,
job.
whoop, whoop.
Casey Quicken 2 times. Uncle Casey Sampson 2 times. Charles Kim. Chartise Torrance. Kristen Appley. Christopher John. Kristen Appley, our lovely Lake Ridge manager. Chris Loizu 3 times.
Chris, you beat him at cornhole and he still called you lovely.
I did. Chris Loizu 3 times.
Nice job, Chris.
Claudia Carcamo. Connie Johansson. Dana Campbell. Daniel Thorpe. David Bradford. Our Montclair manager, David Luckenball 2 times. David Morales. Dolores Barnes. Desiree Campbell. Diane Wright. Deliara Diminova 2 times. Dina Baharona. Douglas Burns.
Emily Blakely.
There you go. Candace Ostroff team. Yep. Perfect choice.
Eric Velasquez, Faiza Alvi, Farouk Bahuyan, Felicia Cole, Flourish Adetoye 2 times, Frey Essayas, Gary Martin, Gina Lee, Grace Matheson, Han Win Liu, Herman Singh, Heather Rafe, Heather Heath, Hua Fong, Hugo Medina, Hulanam, Walter Gabriel, Ian McVeigh. For those of you, because I heard what? For those of you that don't know, Bernie was with our company for many years. Danny's best friend for years. He had certain names he would nail, and he would be like, whoosh. So every time we do that, it's a throwback to Pepper. Ian McVeigh, Inem Raymond, and Irene Trivalides.
Easy for you to say.
Yes.
Yvette Boer 2 times. Jay Yoon, Jaime Magny, Janice Kim, Jason Sanders, Jill Judge 3 times. Thanks, Jill. Joe Magnata, Joe Wilkerson, John Horton, John Uluyeme, John Grant, Jonathan Hurley, Jonathan Thoburn 3 times. Woohoo! Josh Jenkins, Katrazina Kujawa, Kathleen Flasco.
Why is it that I can say the ones he screws up, but I can't say my own?
You've had more. Your mouth is rested.
Yes, my mouth is rested.
Kenneth Yu, Kevin Wolf, Khaled El Hajbe, Kieran Mozaria 2 times.
Mozaria.
Thank you, Kieran.
Christy Williams, Christine Tressler, Katie Fawn, Lakeisha Malloy, Lamar Sims.
Kieran, good job. You're out there in the hall. I didn't know.
Are you out there, Kieran?
Not? Or are you waving to? Oh, you're talking to Bertie.
Oh, that's hilarious. She's talking to Bertie.
You threw me off. Killing me.
Kieran, you just got, like, surprised a lot. Okay. Lamar Sims, Lula Ayub, Louis Poblete, Michaela Jones 2 times, Maria Georgiev, Maria Manderson, Mark Levinson 2 times. I love this Mark page. Mark Morris, Max Lebonsky, Myra Pineda.
Oh, that's you.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. Melissa Smith, Melvin Douglas Pitt, Michael Atkins, Michael Sherman, Michelle Gildea, and Mindy Littleton.
Mohammed Wali, Maya Grossman, Nadine Morgan Jackson, Natalie and Kurt McCarter, Navita Sethi, Nada Wixon, Nick Biberai, Noel Reyes, Noemi Martinez Conaway, Patty Blackwelder from the Twins selling real estate, Palze Leon, Paul Almeida 2 times, Perry Vanderhorst, Pino Budipaksanen 2 times. Thanks, Pino. 2 times, Prudence Wafo 2 times, Rachel Carr, Rajdeep Kapoor, Rajesh Verma, Randall Woods, Rashad Henderson 2 times.
Ronnie Canaday, Sam Hardiman. The 3rd, Samira Rantissi 2 times, Sarah McGovern, Sarah Bitt Singh, me.
Sarah Mormon.
Sean Judge, so that's 4 for them. Sean Klein, Shalonda Walker, Shantae Middleton, Shirley Chambers, Shavasti Singh, Silvana Rosero, Stephanie Johnson, Stephen Jones, Stephen Tatum, Stephen Chin, Stephen Lee. Oh my gosh, I got the Marks and the Stevens. Susan Ronan, Sylvia Stoneberger. Thank you, guys.
And last but not least, Thomas Johnson, Vita Howard, Vivian Hong, Yuri Para, and Zalika Murray. So
Woo!
Congratulations,
you so much. Everybody.
Thank you so much for your continued support of
Yes.
Samson Properties and Cardinal Title Group. Please continue to support us at Cardinal when you can. Invite your friends out to meet us. A lot of people out there in the business, they've been curious about us. This fall and winter, it's a little bit slower in business. They're more likely to want to hear from us and invite them to a lunch and learn. Introduce them to me. I'd love to talk to them. We just can't thank you for enough for everything we're building here. All you all are working so hard together and building this great culture in all of our offices, and we're so thankful for that. We will see you GBBR tomorrow, and then in 2 weeks, our sales meeting is in Chantilly. I don't think I said that, but it's back in Chantilly.
Yeah, I was sitting here trying to think about that.
It's
So enjoy this wonderful fall day. Enjoy your pumpkin spice lattes, and we will see you in 2 weeks in Chantilly. Have a great day.